So I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about why you should stay single. And I wanted to make this video. Is my mic on? Yes. I wanted to make this video because I think that my perspective varies a little bit from those people. You'll see a lot of guys in like the red pill community talking about you should stay single so you can hook up with as many women as possible and make as much money as possible and not have to commit to anyone or deal with the headache of all that. Um, and I agree with the money part, and I agree with the idea of finding a purpose and investing in yourself and self-improvement. But there's a lot of other areas that I don't necessarily agree with. I think the end goal of being single should be to no longer be single. The end goal should be to find someone to date and be in a good, healthy relationship that's going to improve your life. That should be the goal. Now, I don't think it should be a fairy tale love story that's sold to us like Hollywood and Disney do, because I don't think that's realistic. But I do think that finding a good, healthy relationship that's going to last is the goal. And in order to do so, there's a few different phases that I think have to be experienced, or maybe realizations is a better word than phases, but a few different realizations that have to be reached while you are single in order to get to that point. And I think this is so important because the person we choose to date and commit to is probably the most important decision we face in our lives. That person has so much influence over our entire lives. They have influence over the types of content we consume, who we hang out with, our hobbies and habits, and our diet. They just have so much influence over our lives. And if we choose the wrong person, it can be hell on earth. Like you've heard horror stories about people who get divorced or are in toxic relationships and their world is just absolutely terrible. That's probably one of my biggest fears, is finding the wrong person to marry. And I'm doing everything in my power not to allow that to happen. But, the person you choose to share your life with is either going to make or break you. And if you choose someone that is toxic and is unhealthy, it's going to destroy you. And if you choose someone who is going to encourage you and is healthy and good for you, you're going to go much further in life and you're going to be a lot more successful, not just in the relationship, but in all the other areas of your life as well. Your career, your fitness, your health, it trickles into all other areas. So that's why it's so important. And the first, I guess, big realization that I had to come to was that no relationship is going to make me happy. And I know it's kind of weird when I say that at first, because so many people have this idea that when they do find someone to date, that's going to change their life. Like they're going to be, like I said, in this fairy tale that is just going to flip their world upside down and they're going to have no more problems. It's just going to be like this love story that's sold to us, like I said, through Disney and Hollywood and all these different movies growing up. But that's not reality. If we are unhappy as a single person, we are going to be unhappy in a relationship. It's going to surface at some point or the other. Maybe a relationship will numb it a little bit for a little bit at the beginning, but you'll eventually ground yourself and get back to where you were before that relationship happened. And if you were an unhappy, miserable person then, well, now it's just two unhappy, miserable people. So you have to accept this idea that no partner or no relationship is going to make you happy. It can certainly complement and improve your life, but if we put all of the ownership onto the relationship and the person we're dating, then basically what that does is it takes the control. Like we have no control over our own happiness then, our own quality of life, if that's how we're framing it mentally. And that's such a toxic way to live. So I guess how do you improve the quality of your life? How do you become happier and just a better person while you are single? And I think the way to do that is to face your demons. You have to be very honest with yourself and say, how am I falling short? How am I making mistakes in my life? What areas of my life do I need improved? And if we're not if we're not willing to do that as a single person, we're probably not going to do that as someone in a relationship. And to piggyback off that, a relationship also isn't going to change you necessarily. Like, you have to already be changed and be ready for it, and have those demons in the closet put away before you jump into a relationship. And it's hard to do as a single person, because when you're single, you're so focused on the short term. You're focused on living in the moment, in selfish decisions, and you don't really have anyone else that is going to face the repercussions of your decisions. You're pretty much solely responsible for the decisions you make. If a single guy goes out to the bars, he can hook up with a different girl every night of the week, and he's probably not going to have that many repercussions because of it, because it's not like he's in a relationship and no one else is relying on him. He doesn't have a family that's relying on him, whatever. But if you're someone who's in a relationship, you have someone else's quality of life, or someone else is depending on you in some way, whether it's emotionally or financially with a family, whatever it may be. So you're more long-term focused when you're in a relationship. And if we're able to take on that approach, that long-term mentality as a single person, then we can set ourselves up to be successful when we do finally start dating someone. And that's difficult to do, and that's kind of what leads into the third realization and third point, is that we attract who we are. For the longest time, I had this idea that whenever I find someone to date and be in a relationship with, then I'll change. Then I'll stop going out to the bars. Then I'll stop drinking all the time. Then I'll stop hooking up and having one-night stands and all that stuff. But the reality is you have to change before that in order for it to last. You can't attract and then become. You have to become first, and then you will attract. It's just a law of nature. Like, we are attracted to other people who are similar to us or who have shared interests as us. If I'm someone who goes out and gets drunk every Friday and Saturday night, I'm probably going to attract people into my life that also go out and get drunk every Friday and Saturday night. If I go to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, I'm probably going to attract people into my life that also go to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week. If I go to church every weekend, I'm not saying you have to go to church every weekend, but I'm saying if I do that, I'm probably going to attract someone else that also prioritizes going to church on the weekends. It's just a law of nature. We attract people that are similar to us. And if our hobbies and habits and lifestyle is unhealthy and poor and it's just toxic, we're going to attract toxic people into our life. And if we're not patient enough, or we're not working on ourselves and we're lonely, it's easy for us to jump into a relationship with someone else who's also toxic then. Everybody knows someone who is constantly complaining about, oh, there's no more good women, or there's no more good guys out there. When in reality, it's because you're the toxic one and you're only attracting other toxic people in your life. There's good people out there. Contrary to what the internet may show, there are good people out there. And the people you are attracting into your life are a direct correlation with who you are. I've noticed this big time in the past year or two of my life. I've started spending a lot more time going to the gym and getting involved with fitness, whether it be like Spartan races or doing like half marathons or 5Ks, doing things like that. And because of that, I've built a lot of friendships based around that. I used to always spend my time going out drinking and getting drunk and partying. Who would I attract into my life? People that were doing just that. So it takes a lot of, self-awareness and honesty with ourselves, but we have to look ourselves in the mirror and really recognize what areas we need to improve on. Because if we're not doing that as a single person, it's not going to change when you're in a relationship. So who you are right now, the people you're hanging out with, the choices you're making on a day-to-day basis, what you're doing in your free time, how you're spending your time and money and energy, that is all going to impact who you end up dating. So if you're someone who wants a healthy relationship at some point in their lives and they want to actually date and they want to commit to someone, you need to have those demons faced and all of that stuff worked out beforehand so that you can put yourself at a point in your life to where you're then ready to welcome in a relationship. It can't go in reverse order. You can't rely on a relationship to make you happy or rely on a relationship to make you change all your bad habits and hobbies. You have to do that while you're single. And that's why if you're single, stay single until you've got a good grasp on all of that, and then you can start looking to welcome someone else in your life. Being in a relationship is not a bad thing. I think, again, a lot of people in the red pill community have this term called spinning plates, which is like hooking up with multiple women and having as many women to date as possible. And, sure, dating around is cool and all, but if you do find the right person to date and you have a good head on your shoulders and you're kind of, I guess, aware of dating and attraction principles and like how to manage a relationship, it's not a bad thing to be dating someone and be committed to someone. If anything, choosing the right person, like I said earlier, will push you further in life as opposed to someone who's not. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I think being single is a big opportunity. It's a big opportunity to make changes in your life, to take risks, to make improvements, and really focus on growing yourself because no one else is influencing you. So if you're someone who is single, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it and make sure that you're attracting the right people in your life, whether it's someone you want to date or friendships or whoever it is. But the decisions you make as a single man or woman will impact your future. It'll impact where you go in life. It'll pay its dividends 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So if you're investing the right way now, it'll pay off down the road. And if you're not investing in yourself right now, it'll reward you in the wrong ways down the road. So that's my opinion. That's my perspective. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And until next time, peace.